We're going to explore a couple of other methods for cooking Alaska seafood, steaming and poaching. We're going to begin with poaching. And what I've got here are two beautiful pieces of Alaska king salmon. And if you'll notice with these, I have left the skin on. And the reason for that is you don't have to, but I always love to cook the fish with the skin on because the skin has flavor, and also there's that wonderful layer of fat underneath there that contributes flavor, and also that's the source of a lot of those wonderful omega-3s, which we should be consuming more of. The technique is this. Rather than just doing it in water, we've actually flavored this. The French called this a court bouillon. And what it is water, white wine, lemon, aromatic vegetables, which are onions, carrots, and celery, some herbs like bay leaf and thyme. It's sort of whatever you want to do, but the whole idea is that we want to add flavor to the fish. If there's one thing to remember about poaching, it's this. We want to have the liquid just barely simmering. No boiling, but just simmering. Because if we boil it, it's going to cause the fish to kind of fall apart. So all I want to do is to slip the fish in, which I'm going to do here. And you want to make sure it's mostly covered. A tight-fitting lid is also important with this. Adjust the heat so that it continues, the water's just barely moving. That's it. So I'm going to put the lid on. We'll check it in about 2-3 minutes and serve it up. Okay, so I think we're almost done here. We're going to pull it out of the poaching liquid, and what I'm going to do is do this carefully because it's very delicate at this point. We don't want it to fall apart. And I've got a little paper towel under this to absorb any of that extra liquid. And what I'm going to do now is check it to make sure that it's done. And what you want to do is just in the thickest part of the fish, there's actually a little line there that helps you, is just to open that up a little bit. I don't want it to fall apart, and take a look, and ooh, it's perfect. So it's opaque all the way through. And I'm going to leave the skin on this because I like that, but you could easily pull that skin off right now. So I'm going to make sure I don't break it, put it right on our plate like so. It's delicious served cold, and if I were going to serve it cold, I might do a little flavored mayonnaise like this, just herbs and lemon and things like that. But I love salsas, and so I've made a very simple little avocado tomatillo salsa. You can make it in all of about 1.5 minutes. And we're just going to put that right on top in a pretty way and let it sort of drizzle down the side. And that's it. That's our poached salmon. Well, now we're going to explore steaming, which is an amazing method for cooking Alaska seafood too. The basic difference between poaching and steaming is very simple. In poaching, the fish is submerged into the poaching liquid. In steaming, what we're doing is actually placing the fish above the simmering water, and it's the steam that's coming off of it that actually cooks the fish. It's the most gentle of cooking methods, and it's a great way to do all kinds of fish. But I especially like it for delicate fishes, ones that you don't want to handle too much that become, as they cook, delicate and kind of fall apart. So things like sole and cod and those kinds of fishes are especially adaptable to this method. And with steaming, this is the classic kind of Chinese bamboo steamer, which you can actually do several plates on if you want to. It looks like this. If you don't have one of these, many people have at home these steaming baskets, these adjustable steaming baskets, and they will adjust to fit sort of any size pot. And if you look at them, they have these little legs on it, again, to keep it above the water. We don't want the fish to be touching the water. It's simply the steam that comes up that surrounds it. Classically and traditionally with these, what we do is we layer them with some aromatics, and the purpose of that is both to add flavor and also to keep the fish from sticking to the bamboo or sticking to the metal. So here I have some lettuce, which would work. I could do some slices of lemon, maybe a couple of green onions, and then put the fish right on top of it before I put it into the steamer. A third method, which is also very fun, and actually is easiest of all, we're going to cook the fish right on the plate. And when it's done, we'll take it out and put it on the table and eat it. I've got a beautiful piece of Alaska halibut here. I'm going to set it into the steamer, make sure that there's some room around this so that the steam can come up and cover it all. And what I'm going to put on top of this is one of my favorite little, I don't know, condiments. It's a kind of spicy Thai flavored sauce, but you could use anything, any sort of spicy sauce. A good spicy vinaigrette, whether homemade or store-bought, would be great. And what we're going to do is to spoon over this just as much of it as we possibly can. You don't want to get it too full because I don't want to spill it when I transfer it to the steamer over here, but about that much. That looks good. And so while it's steaming and cooking, we're also infusing this wonderful flavor in there. So that's all. We put this on gently. Now walk over to our steamer and we'll get this going. Traditionally, how this is done, the Chinese bamboo baskets, they'll take a wok and put about an inch of water in the bottom of it, bring it to the simmer, and stick that right on top of it. But if you don't have a wok, you don't have to get one. So what I have here is a stock pot, an inch or two of water. Again, I'm just trying to keep this the fish above the water. And to keep it suspended, let's use a cup. I'm going to just put a little water, put it right in the center like so, and we'll set it right on top of it. And you want to make sure that this is fairly tight around there so that most of the steam goes into the basket. But that's it. This thick piece of halibut that we have, it's going to take a little longer, probably take 6-8 minutes or so, but for thinner cuts, more delicate cuts of things like sole or cod, 3 or 4 minutes are really plenty. So that's it. So we'll come back and take a look at it when it's done. We've taken it out of the steamer. I have it here on the plate. Remember, plate's hot, so handle it carefully. I've checked it to make sure that it's opaque all the way through, done to the way I like it. It's ready to go, but I could actually just finish it with a little garnish of cilantro on top. And again, this is a wonderful technique for the whole world of fishes, but it's especially good with delicate fish like pollock and cod. And I love this with crab and prawns and shellfish of all kinds. Again, I'd probably do it in a little bowl. I could put a little more of the sauce on it that way, but technique is exactly the same. So that's it. Just follow these simple steps when steaming and poaching Alaska seafood and enjoy a delicious and really healthy meal.